Hey brothers and sisters, this is part 2 of the video, continuing on from my last video, because it would have gone too long and I probably wouldn't have been able to post it. So this leaves off where I was in 2016 and I moved to Georgia. And so this is when Donald Trump got elected, and I moved to Georgia. I couldn't take it anymore, so I just flew there. I was just like, I can't take this anymore. I'm just very mad, and I was mad at my mom, and I was gaining weight from all the medication. So I moved to Georgia, and my dad wouldn't even pick me up at the airport, so I had to get one of those little cab things. My mom helped me out with that, and then he's like, why don't you just come a couple days later? So I stayed with my grandmother for like a week because he was busy doing stuff, and so I stayed with her, and things were all right there. She's a really sweet angel. I love you. If you're hearing this, she is so sweet. But I stayed there for a week, and then I went with my dad, and I just had made my decision. I was like, this is fine. I'm moving to Georgia. I'm staying with my dad. I'm not going back. My dad even said, if you're going to be here, you're not to talk to any of your family from your mother's side. Not even your mother. I don't want it. And to me, that seemed a little weird, because it's God is not like that. But at the same time, I could see where he was talking about he must have known something that was going on. But at the same time, it wasn't right. Even to this day, it's not right. God is loving. Unless you're something's really bad in your life and you know about it, and it even says that in the Bible, if you have 3 witnesses and you know something's wrong, then you can pray for those people and love them, but get out of the situation that you're in, because God doesn't want you in it. He's God of love and mercy, and he wouldn't want you in that situation. Well, it wasn't like that. I was just very angry with my mom because of a lot of stuff that happened. And so when my dad started saying that, I was just like, okay. And then I started living with him, and I'd say for about a month. And then I have a sister. I'll get into that mess. I have a sister that was 18. Now she's 19, but she was living there, and she was kind of nice at first, but it seemed weird. I seemed like something was not right with her, and it was almost like she lost her memory, because I remember how my other sister, or how she was before. She was very nice, but not nice, but she would never forget a thing. And it was just this sister was forgetting something's not right. Turns out she was doing marijuana and a lot of drugs. I'm not putting her out there in any harsh way. It's just there's a lot of stuff that was going on there. And then I was there for about a month with my father, and he was yelling a lot. And the problem is he doesn't see that what he does. And even Kayla knows this, my sister. It's he would be yelling and starting stuff and doesn't see that he's the problem, and then thinks that, oh, are you going to be nice again? You're going to come back here, when he's the one starting the problem. And I'm not putting him out there because I know he's been through a lot. He has been through a lot of pain, and with his family, and I'm not sure everything that's gone on in his life, so I'm not going to put him out there like that. But I know there's a lot of stuff. There's more to it than meets the eye in every situation, so that's why you can't really judge a person. You gotta really get to know them. And if you want, it's your decision. Just like Jesus says, it's your decision to come to me, children. It's your decision to want to have a relationship with me and be genuine. You don't have to. You can do what you want, and not follow my commandments. But it's your decision. It hurts God, but it's really your decision. So it's just same scenario. It's your decision. So it's just after I moved with my dad, I felt like things were not clear at all. It was just kind of fogged up, and my dad was starting the situations a lot of the time. And then my sister got a car, so she would drive off, and I was just stuck there, and it was just very difficult for me. I was just it's I didn't want to be with my mom, but I felt like I didn't have anywhere to go or anywhere to live. and I just didn't like having the anxiety. So Kayla and me decided to go to the mall one day, and she took a Lyft. And this is where it gets groovy, people. Okay. So there's a driver that was driving us, and she was joking around. She was like, "You looked like Michael Jackson." And I was like, "No, he's actually kind of cute." And like, I didn't really see into what was going on and what was going to happen. I was just like, it was almost like it was my fault, but it was like God allowed it for a reason. Okay. For this part of the sequel. Okay. So, we were driving and we went to North Point. In the car, I was like quiet the entire time. I was just like very observant. I noticed like the whole persona of this person that was driving the car, and his name was Jacob, by the way. And his whole persona, like, it did intrigue me because it was very like dominant and like confident, but it was more like there's something I'm seeking but I'm not seeking, and I didn't know. And like, he was like talking to my sister. I was just very observant. I had no interest in that kind of way. I was just very observant at first, and was just noticing that they were talking like the entire time. And like, Kayla was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What kind of school do you go to?" I was like, "Yeah." Kayla was like, "I go to that school down here. Yeah, I'm a high schooler." Like, she lied, first off, but like, it was like a setup. It seemed like I was in some kind of movie and they were just messing with me. And honestly, there is truth to this, so let me continue. So it's like they had set up everything, and like, she was talking to him, but like, they didn't know each other, but they did. And turns out, well, I don't have proof of this, so I'm not going to say, "Oh, I have proof of this," but they did have a relationship. I definitely could tell. I'm not an idiot. And I didn't say anything, and I still know this, but like, I can't say for sure, but like, it's pretty obvious. And so seemed like it was set up, but like, I didn't know that at the time, and I was just going along with everything. We were going to the mall to have a shopping day, and all of a sudden, Jay says, "Here's my number," and he gives it. I was like, I was the one that took it, and he like it's like he wanted me to take it, like he knew. And now this is where God says, don't say everything you know as it's a legitimate fact if you don't, but like, say what you think and just give your testimony, and he'll take care of the rest. So I'm just gonna say, I think he was a fallen angel. I'm not gonna say I know, because I don't have everything clear, but I can say I think he's a fallen angel. Okay, so continuing on, and it gets deeper than this. So just, if you're tuning in, just keep listening. So I went into the mall with Kayla, and I was like obsessed and all excited. I was like, but in my mind, I wasn't thinking dating. Oh, I like this guy. No, I was thinking opportunity to get out of my father's house, like, so I don't have to be around him, because he was yelling and giving me anxiety a lot of the time. So I was like, that was the first opportunity to jump the gun. And many people wouldn't understand me or the way I think. My dad even says she has really weird thinking, but it gets deeper. And there have been some weird incidents where I thought bad ones were reading my mind, but they were actually angels, and I've experienced a lot more than this. But so anyway, no, that's besides the point. So we were in the store, and I was all excited, and so like a week later, like, I was like getting everything together, and I was like, I got into this huge argument with my dad, and I was like, I'm getting out of here. I'm not living here. And I would just like act like a little child and be like, I'm not living here. You say you do this, you say you do that. Or I don't really remember the arguments. It was usually stupid, like silly, childish stuff. Like, he would say something, "You go back to your mom's," and I was like, "You don't say that, I'm not." And like, it was really ridiculous now thinking back on it. And so after that, I got Jay, and his name was Jacob, but I call him Jay. And so I called him, and I started meeting him out, and I had a job at Kroger, and I started skipping work, which was not good. And I moved out with him like a week later, and he came to get all my stuff, and my dad was like, you can take your bed with you too. And but he did mention something. This was the weird interaction between Jay and my father. Jay had said, your dad's a reptilian. Like, immediately, like, your dad's a reptilian. And then my dad said, like, he's like, what are you like, he's like, you actually believe this stuff? What are you talking about, reptile? Like, he didn't, that's how he responds to it. But, like, he would always be hiding these things. And I noticed, because he had his phone with his brother Donnie, and he would always talk to Donnie. And it just seemed really weird. I didn't really understand everything. And my mom would be sending me texts. She was like, I'm getting these numbers sent from, I don't understand. I was like, how is it coming from my phone? They were coming onto her computer. She's like, from your uncles, from like my dad's brothers. And that was highly suspicious, but I didn't understand everything at the time. So then I moved out after he had said that. I was like, reptilian, what are you talking? Like, it made me more interested in what was going on. Like, I believed, and most people would be like, that's nonsense, that's crazy, that's silly. But I believed it, and there is truth to it, and like, not as it is, like they're demon fallen angels, but like, I believed. And that's where many people don't have faith. They lack faith. They don't instantly believe stuff. They'll just think, oh, that's crazy, gotta have logic, or where's your head? Are you crazy? Are you on something? Are you on drugs? I just get different. But there's truths to a lot of the stuff I'm saying, and like, it gets deeper, but like, there's a lot of truths to certain things that are going on, and they don't want you to know. The government doesn't want you to know. They're hiding it somewhere in the Vatican, I'm sure. I don't really know, but they're hiding a lot of what's reality is. And I don't know, I'm gonna get back on topic, but I just want to say, have you ever seen the movie The Golden Compass? It explains a lot, like how there was a girl and she had the gift of the free will, and I honestly believe that's me, because God has revealed a lot to me. And I'm not just saying, oh, I'm better than anybody. No, it's just like he's revealed it. And then all these prisoners were like spirits that were in different bodies, and they were authentic spirits but were in different bodies, and they couldn't remember their past life. And so the girl had to fight to set the captives free, and they had two bears, and the one bear was like representing Jesus, and the other bear, just like kind of like the Matrix, but it was different. And the other bear was Satan, and the one on the throne who had this crown, he wasn't happy, but he thought he was king. And the other bear was kind of like isolated, like people didn't come to him, and he was the true bear. That's kind of like Jesus. That's just perfect example. Jesus, people don't come to him, and they serve Satan, the one with the crown, but he has no authority. His authority has been stripped, but he thinks he's king. And Jesus is sad because he's like, everybody's coming to him, and I should be the one getting worship. I died on the cross for their sins. Like, what is wrong with this world? And in the movie, it's a lot like society, because like these people were like, notice what I'm saying, captive, because a lot of people don't explain things properly. And in the Bible it talks about us being captive. There's spirits in different bodies, and maybe they just can't remember their past life. I don't know everything about it, so I'm not going to say I know, but like, they're prisoners in different bodies. And like in the movie, and the girl she's the only one that could read the compass, like the only one that can interpret the Bible and understand what the Bible is saying and what God is saying. And so after that, she told them, and they went to do what she said, and she set them free. But she went before God. It said God goes before you. And so it's all prophecy, like it really is. And so she went, I think it was like in Antarctica or something, and there was like a machine set up, and it was they called them demons, the animals, and they were trying to take their energy away. And there's a lot of truth to this, and I can't say I know everything, because I don't, but I do know, like, we are energetic beings, and this is so important. I don't know the whole quote, but it's the Cherokee proverb about which one you feed, which wolf you feed. There's a good wolf and a bad wolf in everybody. Which one do you feed? The one you feed gets the most power, the energy. So if you're feeding jealousy, hatred, all the spirits of Satan, you're going to get that. And that's going to come back to you, and Satan can mess with you more. But if you're feeding, it's kind of like the book of Thomas, what you put out. But it's not all law of attraction. Like, there's a lot of truths to just believing in Jesus and him helping you. But there's truths to this. So, and then, feeding the good wolf, and you're going to get and all the fruits of the Spirit. Even if you don't want to, just putting the effort and trying, God will take care of it. Then you attract good. So, there's truths to that. And in this movie, the girl had to set them free. So she went in, there was a machine, and she hid under the table. And there is a machine, I don't know if a lot of people know, but in Europe, there's this huge machine, and it is this machine that's taking people's energy away, and they're trying to shut everything down. The internet's going to be shut down probably soon too, and that's why I'm trying to get this out there and to try to hopefully, my honest, genuine desire is to hope that I could help someone know that Jesus is the only way, the only truth, and the only life, and the only way to go to heaven and to the Father is through him, and knowing that he died for your sins. He's forgiven you if you come to him, you repent, you follow the commandments the best of your ability, even when it's hard, because it is tough sometimes. And, when you wake up in the morning, because this was a problem for me, not being ungrateful, being like, thank you, Jesus, it could be a lot worse right now, so thank you for what I have until he comes back. So I hope that's my honest, genuine desire to help save someone. And I'm going to get back on topic with the whole Jacob scenario when I moved to Georgia, but I just want to tell you about that movie. So just check it out, because, there's truths to it. But see, in the movie, there's some of the things they used in that movie are evil, and they used it for evil, like the demons being the animals. And there's truths, but you really got to understand and interpret it. God will show you, because it's really the opposite. It's like there's a lot of good in that, but people had twisted it like Satan does. He twists things around and tries to make it bad and evil, because that's his intention, is to mess up God's plan, use blasphemy against God. And also, God, I just want to say this one thing. God gave me a word that at the very end, which is coming soon, we don't know how long, but we're in these times, that Satan is going to use a show, put on a huge show to try to discredit me and discredit my king, and try to use blasphemy against God. But God said, don't worry, you will not be ashamed. Don't worry, you will not be mocked. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And I got a message that he is going to fight for me. And at the very end, there's going to be a huge twist to his whole plan, that Jesus is going to knock him on his little behind. So I'm just going to finish this. But so I feel like believers, I just got to realize you don't got to really worry, because he doesn't want you to worry. Like, fear is a lie. Like, you just got to trust God in all, because he gives you perfect peace, and that passes all understanding. And I do remember a lot. I don't remember everything about this life I had before, but God has revealed, I wanted to say, so I'll get into that. I just am so excited now. I want to get into it, but it's just like, it's a process because of all the stuff that happened. So I moved out with Jay. I'm getting back to on topic. And we lived in this little apartment or place, and there was 2 men, and they lived in this shed, or what would you call it? I don't know what you would call a farmhouse, with these horses. And Jay's like, I found a place, or a guy that has a place. And I feel like they were all behind it. Like, they were all, now in my opinion, I'm not just, saying I know this, but like, I had a feeling like God was speaking to me over time. Like, they're into sex trafficking, like they're into something. And I'm gonna go on to video 3 because it gets longer, and this is almost at 20 minutes. So, but I'm gonna try to finish as much as I can. I'll try to get to 27, then I'll make another video. My life, gee whiz. Okay, so we went, and I lived in this place that they found. And I was like, these people don't seem right. They're into sex trafficking or something. Like, something just told me that. But I didn't know. I didn't want to judge them, because you can't really judge people unless you really know. So I went along with it and lived with him there. And things got a little weird, and I really did like him, but it just seemed a little weird. Like, I was mainly trying to get away from my dad, but it just seemed a little weird. what was going on, but I didn't really realize it. And one night, all I wanted was time. Like, time was so valuable to me. Like, I just wanted his time. I just wanted someone's time, caring, showing they love me, spending time and talking. And you know, one night he's like, for all you know, I could be drugging you with LSD and you wouldn't even know it. And I don't really know, I can't say for sure, but I'm just gonna put that out there. The cops ended up coming like I think it was 2 months later, like around in July, and saying you need to go back with your dad, because he could have drugs and you could be held responsible for it. And you know, I didn't want to go. I felt like it was a really weird feeling. It was like, might have probably been drugged. It was like I wanted to stay. It's like I didn't want to leave. I had that weird attachment, and I'm not usually like that. I'm a very independent person, like mentally, but it's just like I felt like drawn to like need him, and like I didn't want to go back with my dad. And I was like, no, I'm gonna have so much anxiety going back there. And so I'm gonna end this video, and then we'll go on to 3. I'm sorry, guys.